My name's Eli Delaney, and I have the honor of meeting some pretty cool people. These are the entrepreneurs, the artists, the creatives, the game changers that are making a positive impact in the people that they meet. And I'm a firm believer that the people that you meet can get you anywhere you want to go. And this show is my way of sharing them with you. It's my way of also helping you meet cool people. All right, welcome back, everybody. Eli here. And today on Meet Cool People, I get to have a fun conversation with this gal I just met a couple weeks ago. And we ended up getting on a call and just hashing it out when it comes to copywriting. And this is Sarah Chan. She is the controversial copywriter. She's a second-generation entrepreneur, a six-figure business owner in her 20s, and the host of the Unbreakable podcast. With that said, Sarah, welcome to the show.
Having me, my friend.
All right. There we go. So, it's so funny because as we started here, we're sitting there just jamming, talking about copywriting stuff. It's like, oh yeah, we really should be recording all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I mean, there's so much to talk about, especially with copywriting. I think a lot of the time where, a lot of my clients have come to me in the past, they're like, it doesn't sound like me. I was like, because you're trying to put on a show for someone that doesn't align with who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. I think a lot of times when a lot of business owners are writing emails or writing content, they're doing whatever it is, they're going to go two ways. They're going to say, okay, I need to find somebody to do it for me because I don't know how to articulate it myself. Or what they're going to do, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to go to ChatGPT. And then what's going to happen with ChatGPT is that they're going to go look at it and they're going to be like, oh, this is totally fine. This sounds like me, blah, 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 copy, paste, post, right? That's what they're going to do. And then two things are going to happen from there. Number one, a lot of people are going to be like, okay, this is cool. At least I have a regular scheduling. I don't think it really matters like that, okay? And then people are going to figure out that the fact that you can actually convert people off content. And they're going to be like, well, I don't think this is actually convert. And then you're going to go contract somebody to go do it for you. And then the person that's telling you to go do all the content again is going to also tell you, take it down. Because basically you got to start from zero again. It's like making a whole new brand.
Yeah.
Right? I literally would I've told people you need to take everything down. Because if I start something here, okay, and I'm going to take you here, everything that happened in here needs to go. Because it needs to be synchronous. It needs to have a flow. You can't just one extreme to the other extreme like that. It doesn't work like that. It's not life, man. So
right. Well, and you just jumped right in with it, which is awesome. One of the things that I was funny, you and I were talking about this with the differences of your style of copy versus my style of copy. But before we get into all that, I'd like to actually back up a little bit. What was it that got you into deciding you wanted to become a copywriter?
Easy. I joined Tate's the World program, $50 a month. Best decision I ever made in my life. I was 24 at the time. And then on top of it, I'd gotten fired from my job 2 weeks before I decided to start my own business. And inside the program gives you all the actual technical frameworks of copywriting, the buyer psychology, the actual technical frameworks, the psychology, revision, and then they actually have a professor who actually teaches you the skill and how they became wealthy off of. So I had a copywriter who was making over $1 million writing copy for people in companies. Nice. So I had an incredible professor, very, very tight-knit community. We would actually all send different drafts of stuff that we were working on for clients to have either Professor Bass analyze them and go over it and edit it for us and tell us specific revisions, and or we would have the students input them, and then we'd make revisions off of that as well. So the community, with the way it was structured, was very, very tight knit. And then on top of it, within the real world, you can go to different campuses and go learn different things too, like day trading and all that other stuff. Right. But that's how I got into it.
Nice.
But beforehand, I got fired.
So you got into that, and that's what was it about copywriting that attracted you? Was it actually the money, or was there something else about it that really got you excited about it? Because I always find that
there's a couple things. Oh, dude, there's things. Number 1, I don't wanna work in an office. Yeah,
I
let's
understand that
start
one.
there. I don't wanna work in an office.
Right.
I have a problem with authority, okay? As you can guys clearly can tell, I'm called the controversial copywriter for a reason. I have a problem with authority. That's number 1. Number 2, I do not like taking orders where I don't think they're merited. Take orders. I
Okay.
think a lot of people become entrepreneurs because of that reason. And the idea of work from home in my PJs every day. You want to know why? Because I did my almost my entire college degree online. That's
Right.
why. So I was already very well acclimated with using Zoom, with using online software to get things done. Like especially like in college, I had to use Canvas, so I was very used to using online software. So I was very well accommodated to being in a remote subcontractor, if you want to call it that. And then on top of it as well, I want to be a parent one day. I think the way the job market is structured right now, we got problems with giving women the maternity leave that they deserve, not what is expected of companies, but what actually women deserve.
Mhm.
So I think for me, all those were conjunctly together for me to start to go into entrepreneurship and copywriting as well.
Got it. Well, and it is, that's one of the things that I love about it. Like one of my best friends is he's the nomad copywriter and he literally travels around the world. He's a nomad. He has like
Right.
two duffel bags and a banjo that he travels around with, but he is a copywriter helping people out all over the world and literally walks around with his laptop. Like he's as long as he's got his laptop and internet connection, he's totally golden with it.
Yes.
And it's kind of cool to get to have that as an option with that. And it always like for me, I've always been that, but I'm also it's like, oh, I like this, I like the speaking stuff and I like the coaching stuff. And I do a whole bunch of other things. It's like,
Yep.
yeah, we definitely need a little bit more than the laptop for what I'm doing. But it's a beautiful way to be able to do that. Now, um, let's talk about the controversial copywriter. Like, where did that phrase come from? Because I love it. I think it's so funny because, like, you and I started saying at the beginning before we hit record, I mentioned, I was like, you and I are both writing copy for people. Like I specialize in just the email stuff. I don't touch anything else, but you and I have very different outlooks on it. And I think it's really funny because like the controversial copywriter, well, that's absolutely not me. So I'd like to hear like, where did that come from?
Well, I was already thinking about doing it in like November of 2025 and like actually having it up there. I already was making some polarizing statements that I know people just don't agree with. I honestly fuck a lot of people's opinions, to be quite honest. Um, I'm at a point in my life as a young adult that I keep seeing everybody like conform. I was like, no, if you're gonna do something, do it well. And
Mhm.
if it means doing it well and it means having some controversial opinions about it, then that's what it takes,
Right.
unfortunately. And listen, I know a lot of people can either love me or they're gonna hate me. That's okay though, right? And to
Mhm.
your point too, I was always very interested in the public speaking coaching side of business as well. Versus, a lot of other my relatives decide not to go down that road, and that's okay.
Right.
But being controversial actually gets you noticed.
Right.
It gets you on the map. People will ask you, "Why did you write that there?" Because of the fact that I already know that you're gonna ask me about it. It's a great conversation starter. Let's just start there, right? When you know
Love
something's
it.
gonna land well and someone's gonna ask a question, yeah, normally you can convert that person to from someone that's just asking a question to potentially a lead too.
Right.
Hello.
Nice.
It
And
catches a lot of people's eyeball.
well, yeah, definitely. And that leads me to another question with you. Is like, so let's go ahead and define what's the type of client you're working with and what's the problem that you're solving for them.
A lot of people that come to me, they don't know how to articulate what the problem
Okay.
is. So when you come with a copy, they potentially have anywhere between a non-structured email system to non-structured scheduling system when it comes to their content and posting it on social media. It's in the range between that. That or it's something very extreme, like their impressions are going down, down, down. They don't know why because they were fine when they first started posting in the beginning, right? So not only am I just a copywriter, I'm a social media expert as well. So I understand social media and the way it works. So it's you get problems in between. A lot of people come to me because they can't articulate what they want to articulate.
Nice.
I always say this to people, if you're going to tell people what you do in an email, a post, a VSL, something along the lines, make it super. No one wants to read a dictionary. Okay? No one wants to because no one's going to understand what you're doing. Make it simple. On average, and this is statistical proven data, that Americans naturally read at a sixth grade average reading level.
Yep.
True. So when you are selling to a prospect through copy, guys, make it very simple. And that's what I specialize in. The amount of times I've had, with all due respect, Eli, someone like your age, come to me and be like, I didn't think about it like that. Maybe that's why. And then everyone's like, how much do you charge? Charge a lot because I'm the one who understands that people don't read at the level that you think that they might read at.
Right. And I, I always find that
Then
funny.
does
Yeah, I always find that funny because,
yeah,
like,
go ahead.
from my standpoint, I always look at things of you need to think of it like a conversation. You're just talking to somebody, and that's my style.
Yeah.
That's what I work with people on is
Mhm.
helping them just have a conversation. It's like stop with the big words that nobody wants to hear them and nobody needs to hear them. And there's a lot of people that if you're looking at clients, a lot of them don't understand what those big words are. And if you're using it, the first thing you're doing is you're making them feel stupid, which means they're not going to want to work with you.
Yep.
It's plain and simple
True.
because they don't want somebody who's going to make them feel stupid. And so I was like, I don't care what industry you're in. We started this forever ago we call it geek speak. That was back then. Anybody who's in tech, that was the geek. You're a geek, so you talk in geek speak, and nobody can understand what you're actually saying. And
Right.
I
It's
got
like
well,
speaking Chinese to someone who speaks English.
yeah, I got really known for being the guy who eliminated the geek speak because people would come to me and say, "Okay, my web designer's telling me these things. Can you explain that to me?" And I would end up explaining it to them so they understood. They're like, "Okay, that makes a whole lot more sense. Um, could you help me fix that because I don't think I want to work with them anymore." And that's as my for my web design company when I started, that's how I got most of my clients, quite honestly.
Yeah. I have actually done a lot. I've done at least 20 audits on people's copy within the last 2 weeks.
Nice.
And I'm like, it's just a recurring problem that I keep noticing. I was like, I don't understand what you do. I don't. Because the jargon and verbiage in which you are using is
Mhm.
incomprehensible.
Yes. That
Guys, don't complicate it.
yeah, that is one of the biggest things, and I know there are people that I know personally that that's an issue, and I'll have people come up to me and go, "So what is it that he does?" And I'll have, like, multiple people coming to me the same thing. I'm like, "All right, dude, you and I need to talk because nobody knows what it is you actually sell." And I think that
Right.
one of the biggest things, this goes back to like using the big words. It's like people that they want to say certain things because they think it makes them sound smarter when actually all it does is alienate their clients. And that's a
Yes.
big one.
Oh, man, I hope somebody writes that one down. I hope someone writes that one down. Oh, seriously, because you're 1000% right, number 1. Number 2, I mean, listen, it's nice to have a big vocabulary and a diverse and intelligent one, but also at the same time, when you're talking to a prospect that may or may not understand exactly what you do and you want their business, let me tell you something. Talk to them plainly in
Mhm.
words that they understand.
Absolutely.
Like the amount of times that someone just sent me a proposal or a website to look at, I'm like, I don't even know what the hell I'm looking at. I was like, you're like, like this is like Chinese. I mean, fortunately, I speak 2 languages, Spanish and English fluently, but like when it comes to Cantonese, which is like that I know because I'm half my family's from Hong Kong. My dad's family's from Hong Kong. Like, I'm like, I don't understand what you're talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the more you guys complicate simple things is literally what's hurting your business. And even too, when people go on a networking, for example, which is exactly how I met Eli, and they talk about what they do, and I don't understand you in your 10-second elevator pitch, you've got problems.
Mhm.
How is
Absolutely.
anybody supposed to buy from you when they don't even understand what you do?
Yeah. It's so funny, and that's where, people like us, as copywriters, is what we do. We turn people's like, okay, here's what you think you want to say. Here's what you should say, so people can understand it. One of the things that I always have fun with is, like, from my standpoint, and I'm sure you do too, is people tend to. Well, you brought this up actually. People tend to think about, like, when they go to write something, they write it
Mhm.
based on how they think it should sound as opposed to how they actually talk. And for me personally, like, that's kind of my where my gift comes in, is I can pull people's voice out, and when they read what I've written for them, they're like, "Holy crap, Eli, I have no clue how you did it, but this sounds so like these are my words." I'm like, "Well, yeah, they are, because that's what you said." The problem is that if they wrote it, it wouldn't actually sound like them, because most
It
people
doesn't sound
were,
like it.
yeah, most of the time they
Yeah.
were ruined by their English teachers and told them this is how you need to write, which is not how
Yeah.
we actually
Yep.
speak. And
Yep.
so, that's, I think, if for those of us that live in this world, that's one of the biggest things that we have to overcome for clients is like, okay, you don't write like you talk. Let's fix that.
Yes. Oh, I could talk about this for hours. Oh, guys, please, if you have two expert copywriters here, write the way you talk to someone else. It's that simple. If you cannot afford a copywriter, that's okay. That is the golden. If you're going to take anything from this today, write the way you talk. That is
Mhm.
it. Because copy, into Eli, to your point, I agree with you. It should be conversational. And that's how I write emails, and that's how I write posts too.
Mhm.
And that's how I write VSLs. VSLs are no different, honestly. They're just a combination of like the formulation of an email and a post.
Right.
So they're supposed to be conjunctively combined, but there's a different modality continuing on like what industry you're serving or who you're serving as the client too. So don't overcomplicate it. If you guys are going to do something, just do it like the way you think it should be done. That's authentically to yourself versus what everyone else thinks. Like I said in the beginning of this episode, people are either going to love you or they're going to hate you. So might
Yes.
as well just start now.
Yeah. Well, and the
You know what I mean?
yeah, and just for clarity, so anybody who's listening, if they don't understand, a VSL is a video sales letter. So basically, instead of the long written version of it, it's actually just a spoken word version of it, so you can hear people talking about the same thing. But one of the things with
Right.
that, and this goes into like speakers, I find the same thing, is that there's a lot of speakers that get really sucked into having things super scripted, and when they over script it, it ends up sounding
Oh,
very robotic. And, like, as a speaker,
yes.
I always tell people is like, you like, for me personally, I might have bullets for me to go by on my speech, and I might even have bullets on a slide, but the reason I have those there are purely just so I stay on track. It's not because I'm reading the bullets.
Right.
They're not there to
Right.
give me exactly what to say. They're to make sure that I don't go squirrel on somebody and forget what I was gonna be talking about and
Yeah.
go in a totally different
Yeah.
direction. But when we talk about things like a video sales letter, or even just, copy on your website. I was looking at somebody's website yesterday, and it was funny because they know this, and they're already acknowledging it's a problem that they need to fix.
Right.
Is
They're aware of the situation. Yeah.
they hired somebody to help um, with a copy, and they were doing SEO for them. And when they're doing the SEO stuff, what ended up happening was they just had so much heavy text that it's great for the search engine side, because they have all this extra text in the search engine results, but the humans, like, I can't read all this. This is too much, too heavy. And at least the beauty of it is that they understand that this is a problem. He's like, okay, how can we find that medium ground? And I'm like, there are ways that you can still have the right keywords, the right stuff you're looking for to make SEO work, but simplify it down so humans can actually understand it at the same time.
Yep.
And that's one of the things so many people like they're like, oh, well, we need to add all this extra stuff because the search engines love it. And I'm like, yeah, you might be in the first couple of spots of the search engines, and somebody's going to go to your website and they're like, these guys are confusing. I need to find somebody else, and they'll walk away. So it doesn't
The
do you any good at that point.
the first thing that anybody is building a website, anybody should be thinking about is the hero section. Is the
Yeah.
first line on a website that someone sees. Make it memorable.
Yep.
Make it authentically you into your brand though too, right? So don't overcomplicate it. Like I've literally looked at the websites within the last 2 years and seen one hero section with a whole paragraph, and I'm like, what? Like what time do you gonna die? Like I'm gonna die like by tomorrow if I keep looking keep looking at this, dude. I'm like, don't make it too long. Make it short, sweet, straight to the point, and memorable. Because the longer you have a site visitor, the more likely they're going to hit an inquiry on your guys' site. And
Yep.
also, like Eli, to your point, make it super comprehensible. Like make it understandable to like I completely understand what they do. I know where they're located. I know how to get in touch with them. Fill out an inquiry and get with the company and join a call. That's literally as simple as that.
Right.
It shouldn't be more complicated than that. But I think a lot of companies, they're like to your point, Eli. I think a lot of them are trying to do something that everything in like a lot of I call it corporatese. Okay,
Yep.
like, your corporate talk does not work here. Okay, it doesn't. No one cares if you come from corporate, by the way.
Right.
If they can't understand you, they're not going to buy from you. And
Right.
that's where I'm getting at in this conversation today.
Yeah.
You can't convince
Absolutely.
somebody to buy from you when they don't understand you.
Right. No, and I agree with that 100%. That's one thing. It's funny because I've been in this game. My first company was over 30 years ago, which is when I did web and graphic design, and I was writing some copy for them because they didn't have anything, but I wasn't really versed in copywriting per se at the
Right.
time. But that was always the biggest thing. Is like nobody's buying from the company. They're buying from you. They're buying from the person that they met that seems to
Yep.
show they are an expert and that they like talking to. That it goes back to that know, like, and trust. And I've been pitching,
Yep.
personal branding for 30 years for that very reason. Is like nobody cares what company it is. They want to know that they trust you as a human being and you're the person that they shook hands with. The name of the company behind it or the size of their building doesn't make a difference.
It's pretty much it.
Yep.
Listen, if you got I think a lot of people are so like this is gonna sound super controversial that I'm about to say this, but I also don't give a shit either. Listen, you're not in corporate anymore. You're an entrepreneur. And let me tell you something. There's thousand of you out there that are competing for the one club you want to get business from. Make sure you give them a reason you should be remembered. End of story. No
Hmm.
like and trust, that's easy. If you are going to be a memorable person, why should they buy from you?
Right.
Tell me I'm wrong about this.
Right. Nope.
And,
No,
and,
it's
and
good.
it's the paradox here is because I'm 26 and I understand this. And I obviously you know, think about it this way. I could almost compare this to my dad's business. My dad is not the only one selling clip speakers on Amazon. He's not. He's not the only seller.
Hmm.
He's one of like 1,000 or 10,000, whatever the number is. Okay, why should he be the person that gets bought from? Maybe better marketing. Maybe he has better ratings. Maybe he has a better customer satisfaction. People look into stuff like that. How are you making yourself stand out?
Right.
And that comes into personal branding.
Yep. Absolutely. I love it. So let's go ahead and shift gears a little bit. You have your own podcast as well, the Unbreakable Podcast. I'd love for you to share a little bit about what is it, where did that come from, and like what was your thoughts on starting it?
From the inception of my business, I knew I wanted to start a podcast. And when I was living in Miami at the time, this is the first year I started my business, was living in Miami, South Miami to be specific. I wanted to make a podcast that was real and authentically representative of myself and my morals and values. And the thing is that we make podcasts now like toilet paper, mass produced. Okay? The problem is with some of them, and not gonna say all of them, but some of them, there's no value, there's no soul. And that's what I wanted for mine. And so I'm like, this isn't gonna change unless I do it myself. So that's how Unbreakable became
Nice.
known. Now that I've had my podcast for a month, I actually have a lot of interest in a lot of people becoming a guest. Not everyone's gonna get qualified though. Okay.
Yeah. Kind of like this
Unbreakable
one.
for me was exactly. And I think having requirements and qualifications around how to get on one is valid. Because you don't want someone shitty sitting on your show.
Right.
Sorry. I turned someone away literally yesterday because of this. And I'm like, you're not qualified.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's not because I think I'm better than you. It's because if you're going to be disrespectful or you think you deserve an opportunity based off of whoever you are, that doesn't necessarily go well with the person that you're asking for an opportunity.
Right.
Period. Unbreakable is about having the mental fortitude to surpass hard times and still become successful. Very much to my story, a lot of people don't know this. I grew up in a broken home. I don't have the best relationship with my dad either. Don't really talk to that side of the family. And to the point is like, how did I make it out of like going through everything I've been through, being falsely accused for something that I did not do in college and literally losing my academic career when I was 19. I'm like, it's because mental fortitude, drive, authenticity, and passion are
Mhm.
the reasons why I write copy. And it's the reason why I own a podcast. And I wanted to create a podcast around that.
I love it. Now that is cool. And it's, the fun thing about it is like you're talking about people that don't get on. This show is the same kind of idea, the fact that this show is all based around people that I have a great conversation with. I consider them
Right.
friends and I want to, I want to share them with the world. But we already have an established relationships. Like, and you and I were talking about this before, is like there's a lot of people that come to me and say, "Hey, I should be a guest on your show because I'm cool." And I'm like, "Well, that just because you said that, no, you're not, and that's not going to happen." And I mean, I said that multiple times to people, and it's really sad that I have to, but people need to understand that what you're looking for. Like, what's the purpose of the show? What is the meaning behind it? And there's a lot of shows that they just want
Mm.
anybody and everybody as a guest, and that's perfectly fine. But there are shows like this one and like yours that, it doesn't mean that you're not, you haven't been successful in the things you do. You're just not a good fit for some reason. And that's okay too. Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Very
But
cool.
here's the thing. I think when it's coming from someone like me who's significantly younger in the entrepreneur space and that has built a podcast, I think a lot of people are like, "Well, I'm older than you, so I know better." No, you don't. Because if you want to go do a podcast, go fucking do it.
Right.
And then you'll see how incredibly hard it is to find guests, plan it out, edit it yourself, produce it, create content on a revolving basis, like a revolving door. You'll see how hard it is. And
Mhm.
then be like, no wonder I like being a guest more than I like being the host. Yeah, because
I
it's
can
not easy.
validate that one.
And if
I
it
could,
was easy, everybody would do it.
yeah, I can validate
Everybody
that
would do
one.
it.
I went for 3 years and said, nope, I'm not starting a show because I'm having too much fun just guesting on everybody else's show so they can do all the work.
Right.
And I did that for, it was actually, how many years was it? Oh God, I think I stopped my first show in 2013 and I didn't start this one till 23. So it was over 10 years
Mhm.
difference and I was just like, nope, not ready
Right.
yet. Not ready yet. When I finally did, I'm like, I'm really having a lot of fun, but why did I decide to do this? It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
Hmm.
And I kind of did the same thing that you did, Eli, for the first two, at least for the first 2 years. I was like, you know what? I'm having a little bit too much fun being guest on people's. I've been on like at least 30 shows within like the last 2 years, I
Right.
think, besides my own. And I'm like, it's fun being interviewed. I like being asked questions. This is
Hmm.
fun for me.
Yeah.
And then now I'm like, damn, this is hard. But like, it's good in a challenging way because it makes you critically think.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's awesome. Well, I look forward to
It's a blessing to be able to have a podcast.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be able to do it. It's fun to
Well,
interview other people. I have a blast with it, but I do enjoy the other side of just being able to share whatever nuggets I can possibly share with other people's audiences and have a good time while we're doing it. So we're getting to the top of the time here. As I do with all my guests, there are two final questions. The last one is a simple one: how do people get a hold of you? But before we get to that, I would love
mhm.
for you to share what does meet cool people mean to you?
I'm such an energy person. I feel energy very clearly. And I think it's probably because my discernment is super, super high. So when I do meet cool people, it's normally because of the fact I had such an amazing conversation. I know who I click well with, I know who I don't. It's based off of how we interact, right? Like you and I had a conversation before. I agreed and you would agree to come on my show. I came on your show, obviously. And I think a part of it is you guys have to have incredible energy together. You guys gotta
Mhm.
laugh. You guys have to have an amazing rapport and stuff like that. Like I think that's what meeting cool people is. And obviously, like meet people that don't do the same thing as you do. And see how like you can like mesh together, like come together and like work together, right? And if it's not even like gaining clients at this point, it's like building like really great partnerships,
Right.
right? So I think that's what that meeting cool people is to me.
Awesome. I love it. Very cool. Thank you. So, last question. It's the easy one. How do people get a hold of you if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, so Eli will drop my LinkedIn. You guys can send me a direct message there. My phone number is 941-405-9746. And then you can either email me at srqcopywriting at sarah at srqcopy.com, sorry, and or WhatsApp me at the same phone number. So that's how you guys can get a hold of me.
There we go. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming and hanging out today, Sarah. I appreciate it. We had a fun conversation.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
All right. Everybody else, get out there. Have an amazing week. As always, if there's anything I can do to help you out, reach out. Let me know. Take care. And that wraps up another Meet Cool People show. Now, if you like what you heard, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, or review so I can help introduce these amazing cool people to even more amazing cool people. And just remember, meeting cool people is just the beginning. You need to have a system in place to follow up with the amazing people that you meet. This is exactly what we do for our clients. Now, if you'd like to see if my team and I can help you, go to convertmoreclientsnow.com and check out the case study video to see exactly how we're helping our clients turn casual connections into cash clients for life. Again, go to convertmoreclientsnow.com and see how we can work together to turn you into a follow-up rock star.